By that time, the Midianite traders were passing by. His brothers pulled Joseph out of the cistern and sold him for 20 pieces of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took Joseph with them down to Egypt. Genesis chapter 37, verse 28. Today is December 20th, and you're listening to the Daily Devotion Podcast from Devotable. Today's devotion is titled Twists and Turns in Life to Nowhere, and was contributed by Gretchen Fleming. Do you ever feel lost? Learn how to persevere through the twists and turns of life, all to the glory of God, who knows us each by name. How many times does it seem that we are nowhere we want to be? Or worse, going in the opposite direction of where we intend to go? As I read about Joseph in Genesis 37, it only reinforces what I have already seen in the patriarchs thus far. A trend. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. Genesis 37:28. I remember Abraham and how long he was childless while getting older by the day. I remember Isaac being childless 20 years after he married Rebekah. I remember Jacob fleeing to keep safe from Esau and going into life alone and a land unknown, far from his home and family. I remember him working and waiting 7 years for his chosen bride, Rachel, only to be cheated at the end as Leah was given to him instead. This resulted in 7 more years of work in exchange for Rachel. Now I see it happening with Joseph. As I read in chapter 37, I see a young man privileged, protected. Joseph is feeling good about his potential, even more so as he has 2 separate dreams, giving him a foreshadowing of future power. He is feeling sure of himself and his future. But then come the twists and turns in life, unforeseen and undeterred. Joseph finds himself betrayed by his brothers, sitting helplessly in a cistern. The situation, as bad as it was, only worsens as he is further betrayed by his brothers and sold as a slave to merchants on their way to Egypt. He is then sold to one of Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard, as a slave for his household. I wonder what he was thinking, how he was processing it all. That's what I'd be doing. Thinking, processing, and trying to make sense of it all. I tend to live life better when it makes sense. Anyone else like that? Where was the privilege? Where was the protection? What about the dream? Is this what is supposed to be happening? This is not the path on the map to success I planned, not to mention agreed to. But that is where Joseph finds himself. What about you? Are you where you want to be? Where you plan to be? Has life taken twists and turns from where you envisioned yourself at this point in your life? Is it taking you longer to get where you want to go? Be what you want to be? Does it seem you are no closer to your goal of marriage, a baby, a job opportunity, an empty nest, or a prodigal returning? Joseph can relate, and so can I. From what I have learned from Genesis as I studied Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and now Joseph, God takes us on twists and turns in life, often leading to nowhere from our perspective. But every time, He is actually leading us somewhere even better. God is not out for the destination alone. He is after a purified faith in the journey. And in the process, the end place we find ourselves becomes even better than previously envisioned, because we are changed, and our Jesus becomes more precious and powerful than we ever hoped or realized before. God is not out for the end result alone, but a purified faith through the journey. Not to spoil the unfolding of the story, but Joseph does end up right where he was supposed to, with the life God prepared for him, full of promise and purpose. So will you, and so will I. Only let us wait just as faithfully through the twists and turns as we see Joseph. As the story unfolds through the rest of Genesis, may we learn from him how to persevere through the twists and turns of life, all to the glory of God, who knows us each by name. This is an older devotion that Gretchen wrote for us a little while ago, but I wanted to bring it back because I think it deserves a place on the podcast because the message is so amazing. I have learned over the last 7 years that God does not let us endure times of hardship and confusion for nothing. There is always a lesson to be learned. There is always a reason for the journey. And if we endure through that, like Gretchen says, we will be purified in our faith because of that journey. And when we emerge and give God the credit and the glory, He will be even sweeter to us because of that journey. Because we can look back and see how He delivered us and realize how much of a great and faithful Father we have. I know that some of you are in the middle of a journey or a trial, and you have no idea why. You found yourself in a tribulation or hardship that just seems impossible to bear. Well, let me say, brothers and sisters, can I give you some encouragement today? That journey is for a reason. You can't see it now, and you might not be able to see it for many more months or even years. But when the journey is over and you're at the destination, I encourage you to turn around and see the path you've taken and realize the growth that has taken place in your life because of that journey. You'll see that God has grown you more than you ever imagined, and your faith is now stronger and better because of that trial. The joy isn't in the journey a lot of times, but the learning and the growing is. The joy comes in the morning when we wake up and see how great our God is and how He brought us through and provided for us. Are you waiting as faithfully as Joseph did? Are you trusting God as faithfully as Joseph did in this story? I can only hope that I'd have the patience to wait like Joseph did. What are you going through right now? I would absolutely love to pray for you guys in whatever situation that might be. You can get a hold of me through our social media links, or you can get a hold of us on our website, devotableapp.com, and let me know. I would love to pray specifically for you guys and whatever request that you might have. Gretchen, thank you so much for writing this. I know it's a little older of a post, but still so relevant for today. As we come into the holiday season, there's a lot of people that are struggling this time of year because of loss or hardships or whatever that may be, and they're in the middle of a journey that they can't quite understand. Maybe it's sorrow, maybe it's grieving. Whatever the case may be, I would encourage you guys to go read some of the stories of these Old Testament saints. Put yourself in their shoes and realize that God is faithful. He was faithful to them, and He is the unchanging God. He will be faithful to us. Gretchen, thank you so much for being faithful to Devotable, to post and let us have the posts and writings that you write to contribute. She has a passion to follow hard after Jesus. She's a writer, she's a blogger, she's a speaker, she's a mom, a wife, she's so much more. I would encourage you guys to go check out her website, learn more about her, follow her on her social media profiles, read her blogs. They're amazing, packed full of relevant content that will help you guys in your life. If you live around her, perhaps you could go to one of her speaking engagements or just encourage her however you can. You can get a hold of her at Gretchen Fleming, GretchenFleming.com. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me for today's daily devotion reading. My name is Landon, and I am the creator and founder of Devotable. Devotable is a collection of authors, bloggers, and writers who create devotional content, and we try to do three things. We try to uplift fellow believers, we try to reach the lost for Jesus Christ, and we try to spread the good news of the gospel as far and as wide as we can. If you want to learn more about us, our mission, or our platforms, head on over to devotableapp.com and check us out there. If you're an author, a blogger, or a writer, and you're interested in contributing to Devotable, head on over to devotableapp.com/contribute and learn how you might be able to contribute or write for us. I also wanted to take a second and let you all know how excited I am about our latest upcoming project. We're compiling a 26-week devotional journal all about prayer. We've had 26 authors contribute to create an amazing journal and devotional that will walk you through many aspects of your prayer life. We're putting the final touches on it now, but you can get early access to it as we work through all the details and get your early copy or proof. If you're interested in being a part of that, we have a special offer for you. All of our Patreon partners get early access to our projects. Being a Patreon partner allows you to contribute to Devotable monthly, supporting what we do, and in return, you get access to special discounts, early previews of our books, our projects, and much more. As a thank you, we always send our Patreon partners, contributing $5 or more a month, a complimentary copy of our book, our journal, or our latest projects. So if you're interested in that and you want to help us out by supporting us, head on over to devotableapp.com/contribute to learn how you can become a Patreon partner as well. And here's a special shout out to all of our current supporters on Patreon. You guys help us way more than you will ever know, and I want to thank you guys personally. Lastly, if this devotion has blessed you in any special way, would you please consider sharing it with a friend? That's how we grow, and that's how we reach more people. By friends like you sharing these devotions, emails, or podcasts to your friends and family, and allowing them to learn more about Devotable. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas season. Until next time, have a great day.